Hello, and welcome to the Viking Code School demo for HTML in Action. So, we're going to take a look at some elements that help us format, and also look at some at the way that things are escaped, particularly so if we want to show how to actually write HTML inside HTML, we need a way to do that. So that's what escaping is all about. And then we'll also touch upon this meta information as well and what that is. So when you want to write code in your HTML, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can do that with the code element here. And you can see that actually pre-formats the text to preserve white space. So I should be able to do that. Oh no, not in code blocks. So it's going to make it look like code, but you're not going to get white space here, or it's not going to honor the white space. It's going to basically collapse white space into a single space. So even though I have 4 spaces here, you can see that I do not have 4 spaces here. But the pre-tag, if I were to put more spaces here, you can see that it actually does affect the way that it's output. So that is the great thing about pre-tags. So if you have a bunch of code, for example, that you would like to output so it's readable like you would read it in a text editor, the pre-tag is what you should reach for when you're trying to do that. Moving on to escaping HTML. So if you want to write out an HTML element, you're going to need to use the angle brackets. And further, you're going to need to use them exactly the way that you would write a HTML element. So if I let's ignore this right here. Let's see if I could try doing this. I mean, like, you should be able to recognize what's going to happen here pretty quickly. If I just want to write out the actual opening p tag here inside of a paragraph tag, this is not going to work because the HTML parser is going to say, hey, okay, so we're opening up a p tag here. Well, wait a second, we're opening another p tag here. So that's going to say, okay, well, this closing p tag, that closes this, but there's no closing tag for this. So it's going to get messed up. The parser is going to get confused. Well, it's actually not going to get that confused. It's probably just going to automatically close this p tag for me. But the important thing to take away is that it's actually going to parse this as HTML, and we don't want that. We want to just output the raw text. So to do that, we use HTML entities. And what they are is this ampersand with some kind of text to identify what the HTML entity is, followed by a semicolon. So the format would be ampersand, name, and then the semicolon. In this case, we have ampersand LT for less than, and then ampersand GT for greater than. And that is what gives us this right here. So if I wanted to actually write out, this is interesting. If I actually wanted to write out the code to write out an HTML entity, I would do something like this. So I would write out the ampersand is an HTML entity too. So you actually write ampersand amp semicolon, and then the rest of this is just the text. So those are HTML entities. Really quickly here, let's take a look at the meta information of an HTML document. So every HTML document should have a doc type. You should be using the HTML5 doc type, which it looks like this. It's very simple, easy to remember. and this will tell your browser that this is an HTML5 document. Next, what you want is a head. You should always be having an HTML element with a head and body, and it's always good to put some meta information in there. For now, you could just kind of go ahead and copy these in there. This is just the char set, the character set for your HTML document. It's standard to have UTF-8, and the viewport that's basically setting the initial scale for some help on the responsive design side. You don't need to worry too much about these yet. Just go ahead and use them if you want to. More importantly, we have the title. So this is going to be what sets the title of your HTML document, of the web page. So you can see up here is displayed HTML and action. And that's basically it. So that is preformatting text, escaping HTML with HTML entities, and meta information in HTML documents.